Hey YouTube, hope you are well, wealthy and winning. In this video, I am going to show you 7 proven strategies that we use to get big corporate contracts in schools and build a £3 million business. So if you are a coach, a consultant, a expert advisor and or business owner that's looking for proven strategies in order to scale your expert business, then this is for you. Maybe you've wondered, maybe you've seen my journey and you said to yourself, Jazz, how did you go from just £30 to running a £3 million business? So if you don't know, my name is Jazz Rose and I started my first business coaching sports in the primary schools, scaled it from just £30 to generating over £3 million every single year in that business, and generated over £20 million across the lifespan of that business before selling it and retiring at 34. So to give you a little bit of context, we started off just doing sports in schools, and I realized that a lot of people around me were sort of coaching football and all of that sort of stuff, and I thought, football is just like one-dimensional, and I actually want to teach the children multi-dimensional skills that they can actually use in any walk of their life. So what I did initially is I started to go and teach sports in schools. So I started to teach multi-sports, which involved basketball, hockey, dance, tennis, tag rugby, and all sorts of different sports that the children can learn from and enjoy. Ultimately, not just so that they can be a professional athlete, but so that they can develop their confidence, they can develop their cognition, and they can develop their creativity. And they can apply those skills to anything that they did in school and in life. And that's one of the core principles and foundations really as to how we scaled that business is, A, we made it unique. So you've got to find a way to make your business unique so that it's not like everybody else. Because it was that differentiating factor that helped us to get into the corporate schools and helped us to separate ourselves from the competition and really become a unique brand of our own. And I don't like that word competition in business. I think it's yucky, I think it sucks. And I think that you should really find your unique gift so that you don't have to ever feel like you are competing. So what are the 7 proven strategies that we use to actually get into big schools, land big contracts of up to 200 and sometimes £200,000 a year and sometimes more? Some clients were worth to us up to around 8, maybe even £900,000 across the duration that we worked with those schools, because we had £150,000 or £200,000 contracts with those clients. And I'm going to show you some really valuable ways in which we got there and how you can potentially do the same. So first thing is personal drop-offs. So when I started off at 17, 18, 19, I would just have a template newsletter that I would go off and I would physically go into the school and drop it off. Now, how easy does this sound in 2025? It sounds incredibly easy. But guess what? Most business owners won't do it, and here's why. Because we now have digital communication, and we have so much digital communication in the palm of our hands, in the shape of our phones and other devices, that actually people get a little bit lazy. So if you can stretch yourself out there and you can find yourself the courage, the confidence and a little bit of creativity to actually go off into the schools and drop off a newsletter or drop off a copy of your brochure and say, hey, can I speak to Mr. Stevenson, please? And they're probably going to say he's not available right now. So brilliant. Well, we're working with a lot of local schools and we're doing X, and I would love to have a short meeting with him to talk about how we can help his school to achieve Y. If they're not available at this moment, please leave this brochure with him and I'll follow up in a couple of days. That's critical, by the way, is that you follow up in a couple of days. Or you schedule an appointment. Hey, when's the best time to get through to Mr. Stephen? I know he's super busy. Is it usually afternoons? And then they're going to say, oh, he's always busy, I'm not sure. Well, is it better in the mornings usually or afternoons? Oh, usually in the afternoons, maybe around 1 o'clock. All right, brilliant, I'll call him that. You see how we do that, right? Don't just take one rejection or one answer as like solitary and you can't move forward. No, get creative and ask more questions. And that personal drop-off can really be effective for many businesses. And if you haven't done it in the last 6-12 months, then consider doing that straight away and let's go, right, these 20 schools are going to get drop-off today, these 20 schools are going to get drop-offs tomorrow. And if you want to take it further and you want to expand your reach, then consider hiring other people to do those drop-offs for you. Give them a little script, tell them what to say, tell them how to book the next meeting, and then boom, bam, shakalaka. Do these old school techniques, they actually work if you do them well. So, second one is So let's write this down so that we are following on the journey. By the way, if you're getting value from this, then make sure that you tap the subscribe button so that you get more valuable videos just like this one. The second thing that we used to do is to phone them up. Oh, crazy, right? Just ring them up. Hey, is Mr. So-and-so there or Mrs. So-and-so there? Would love to have a 5-minute conversation about how we can help them achieve Y. Hey, yeah, I'm sure you've got somebody in that department already. However, I wanted to offer them something bespoke that, first of all, I just wanted to find out if we can even help, and if so, when. Right? So you're asking more questions, you're having more conversations, and you're opening up doors. This is what this is all about, phoning and opening up doors, opening up a dialogue so that you can get a spot in their diary. Never underestimate the value of a phone call, okay? Very, very important. So that's how we started off initially, personal drop-offs, phone calls. I don't know how many dials we did a day, but we did several dials a day, just going through the list of local schools in a particular region, a particular borough, and then hoping that we would absolutely get through. And several times we did, and that's how we got some of our first initial contracts. And by the way, as you are scaling on this journey of growing your expert business, whether you're working with schools or other corporate institutions, all of these things will work, and you should actually revert back to doing some of the things that, or at least consider reverting back to doing some of the things that you did in the first place in order to get to where you are today. Next, what is it? Email. So email campaigns. Now, I'm not just talking about selling, not just talking about sending a one-off email. Don't do that. It's yucky, it's disgusting, it doesn't work effectively. So what have you got to do? You've got to create a corporate campaign. You've got to create a campaign, a sequence of emails that goes out to your ideal client on a consistent basis. We took this to a next level at my previous company, JNC Academy and JNC Education, because what we did was something unique. Again, personal uniqueness is we sent out video emails. So on the emails, they would have a video either inserted into the video or most likely a link where they can actually watch a conversation of us talking about how to deliver better warm-ups in school, or how to control children's behavior, or how to make children feel really inspired about their next lesson, whatever that is, maybe whether it be maths, music, or science, or what have you. So we would send out these short videos on a weekly basis, and then by week 6 or week 7, we would say, hey, if you would love us to help us, we would love to come into your school and deliver a free demo lesson so that you can experience this live in person for your specific pupils. And what would they say? Well, we send an email out to a couple of thousand schools, and several of them will come back and say, yeah, absolutely, come on in. And we would come on in, we would deliver up, boom, 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 wow, magic. And they will go, oh, where do I sign? And we'll go, right here, please, authorize the agreement. And off we go. That's another 35, 75, sometimes even £150,000 contract. How did you get there? By just launching an email campaign. By the way, when you do an email campaign, you won't always get, not all of the thousands of schools that we send the email to would respond. But hear what? When we spoke to them in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months down the line, they're still resonating with the residue of the things that we sent to them earlier, and they're much more likely to become paying clients. So sometimes your audience might not be ready to move right now, but send them the stuff in advance anyway. So when they are ready to move, and they are ready for your service, whatever your service might be, then you become top of mind. All right, cool, good. So what else did we do? Email campaigns. We did postal campaigns. Number 4, postal campaigns. Getting your marketing message out. I'm actually working privately with a fairly successful sports coach. You may have seen it on my Instagram, and he's doing really well. And he's somewhere around 600k right now, and looking to scale to and beyond $1 million. I said, what are you doing with regards to postal campaigns? He said, well, we send it out once a year. I said, well, why don't you triple it? Why don't you send it out once a quarter, right? Because you've got to stay front and center of people's minds, and you've got to have some sort of physical contact. Now, we've got a very unique way of doing this at the Business Growth Academy that I teach my clients, which is essentially a corporate campaign which goes out to your ideal client, which is not just an ordinary newsletter or an ordinary brochure, but it's actually something gift worthy. It's actually something very valuable, something that is unique, something that is inspiring, something that gets through the gatekeeper. Why? Because the biggest challenge that you're going to have when you get into corporate work is getting through the gatekeeper, getting through the secretary, getting through the PA, getting through the receptionist or whoever. So the way that you can do that is not just send a boring newsletter like most people do. That will get you some results. But to get expanded results, what you want to do is send something creative. Like I remember we used to send to the schools, we used to send, I wish I had it with me, but we used to send a bus, which is about this size, a bus about that size. And on it, it said, in taking your children on an engaging learning journey. So a little bit of an analogy. And inside the bus, they would open it up, and inside it would have lovely cookies. And then inside there, it would have a folded little newsletter, like an A4 newsletter, that says, hey, I hope you enjoyed I hope you're taking children on an engaging learning journey. I hope you enjoyed the cookies. This is for the attention of Mr. So-and-so, in other words, the head teacher. And then we would talk about what we did in other local schools. We'd have some testimonials of other local schools that said, hey, we'd love to come in and deliver a free demonstration lesson for you and for your children. Very easy, highly effective, because get through gatekeeper, like, oh, cookies, oh, I like Jazz, oh, he sounds cool. Let me send this over to Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas is like, oh, we got cookies for me too. Oh, no, pick up, oh, yeah, I'd love to come in for a meeting. Yeah, please, boom, bang, sign the contract, let's go. Let's help inspire your children. So that's how we do. Okay. I'm getting a little bit animated. Leave me alone. I can have fun sometimes, can't I? Alright, cool. Number 5. What other marketing campaigns? And by the way, number 7 is freaking gold. So you better stick around. Because that's what's going to help you to really just take this to a whole new level. But number 5 is free. Free demo day. When you do a free demonstration, very, very powerful and important is schedule a meeting in advance. I tell my clients this all the time. You've got to schedule them. Don't just say, oh, we'll do a free demo day. And then they're like, oh, well, go and work with, in our case, it would have been like, go and see the PE coordinator. They will oversee everything and make sure everything goes well. Meanwhile, PE coordinator knows nothing about PE. PE coordinator knows nothing about contracts. PE coordinator knows nothing about what the pricing is going to be, what's in the budget, what's not, like, they know nothing about the stuff that I want to talk about. So therefore, I've got to get a meeting with the decision maker. And you've got to do the same. So as part of the free demonstration, we always schedule in a inclusive meeting with the head teacher. In your case, it might be a different decision maker. You just insert their specific department title, but always get that meeting so that when you do the demo day, it actually becomes a valuable experience for them, and they're not like, oh yeah, well, we'll just talk another time and just push you off, just like, get out, yeah, see you later. Fantastic demo day, bye, we'll see you sometime in the future. No, you don't want that. Be a professional and schedule the meeting in advance so that when you do that demo day, you say, hey, was it 10 out of 10 amazing? What was missing? What can we do to improve? How can we actually implement this service and solution into your school on a consistent basis so that your children continue to get amazing lessons and value? Good. And here's one that you can make it right away. That's going to be a game changer if you do it well. And that is to launch events. So we would actually hold music days where so let's say we were working at schools in Harrow. And at the time, we would have been working at about maybe, say, 8 schools in Harrow. And in Harrow, let's say there's about 40 different primary schools. So we would invite all of the other 40 schools and say, we've got amazing music competition, and bring your school and get them to sing a Christmas song, get them to sing a Christmas carol, and we would all do it in one of our biggest clients in Harrow. So what does that do? Oh, now all of the schools are there. You know, maybe not all of them, but maybe you've got 20 schools there. You've got 20 potential schools. We've got 8 of our existing schools with our fantastic music teachers. Children are singing like they're Beyonce, singing like they're Rihanna, and their children are singing like cricket. So what does that do now? It demonstrates expertise. It demonstrates value. And we did the same thing with sports lessons. We did the same thing with even with French and Spanish lessons as well. So this is how you can start to get yourself really positioned in front of your ideal clients so that they see who you are, they know what you do, they know the value. They don't just know the value, but they actually get to experience the value, and then they're much more likely to move forward and work with you. Would you agree? Comment below yes if you would agree. Alright, good. So, getting value from this video, be sure to subscribe because we want that algorithm ticking, and sharing these kind of gems with more entrepreneurs just like you. Final thing is conferences. conferences. This, when you do this well, by the way, you will make more money than you've ever thought possible. Potentially, you will make more money in a month than you've made in the entire year. When you start to insert and position yourself as the authority that goes into the conference. What is a conference, Jadros? A conference is where head teachers, and by the way, if you're working in corporate institutions, not necessarily schools, the same concept applies, okay? In schools, the head teachers would meet in what they used to call clusters. And they would have, all of the schools in Ealing or all of the schools in all of the schools in Barnet would meet up, and maybe 10 of them would sit together and have tea and say, oh, what's going on in your school and what's going on in my school? And then you would say, hey, I would love to come along and deliver a world-class presentation on how all of your schools can deliver world-class XYZ lessons. And you just got to do the same. Just plug and play this system into your business. I can promise you, you spend a month just focusing on getting into more conferences. Maybe send your PA to send out hundreds of emails about, hey, when is your next conference coming up? Every single meeting that you have coming up with a client. Hey, when's your next conference? Would love to come along and share some value. And don't think about it as a sales pitch. Just come along and share some value around how your specific pupils can do why. If you want to get really intelligent and intricate with this. Intricate with this. Here's what you do, is you look out for things in the news around your particular subject area that are popular and popping. And then you frame the values that you share around that particular topic. So let's say in our instance, there was a time where there was a lot of news articles around obesity. Children are becoming obese. There's more children becoming obese than any time in human history. And I knew that, and it was just like, that was like a duck off of water's back for us. Obviously, we used to tackle that every single day. But we had to target that specific message because that's what the head teachers were concerned about. Oh, obesity crisis. So then we would have a headline when we go to the conference and say how to ensure we tackle obesity as a dynamic community. I just made that up. But it'll be something around a subject that is going on in their mind. Other times it was Ofsted. Oh, Ofsted are complaining about this. Schools are not doing X, Y, Z. How to make sure that your school gets an A star or gets an X, Y, Z result in the next Ofsted report. Huh? Why is the PE specialist telling me about this? Well, let me show you my angle. And you create an angle for your messaging. When you do that really well, then you're going to be way more successful in both getting through the door of the corporate company and also making sure that they are more likely to work with you. All right, so my name is Jad Rose. You are world-class and amazing. Thank you so much for sharing some time with us and getting to know this structure. I hope you found it useful. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below. Let me know which was the most valuable step for you and which one